You know that feeling, right? It's freezing outside. You crank up the heat, and instead of that cozy warmth you're expecting, you get a blast of cold air. Ugh, it's so frustrating. Well, in this explainer, we're going to figure out exactly why that's happening. Okay, let's dive right in. That unexpected chill you're feeling could be anything from a super simple setting you can fix in like 2 seconds to a pretty serious safety issue. So we're going to break down all the possibilities so you can tell the difference. So first up, let's talk about the times when cold air from your furnace is actually, well, normal. And believe it or not, sometimes your furnace is just doing exactly what it was designed to do. Okay, get this. The single most common reason for getting cold air isn't a broken furnace at all. It's just a button on your thermostat. If your fan is set to on instead of auto, the blower is just going to run and run and run. That means between the times it's actually heating, it's just circulating regular room temperature air. And yeah, that can feel pretty cold. So check that first. It's not a malfunction, it's just a setting. Here's another time it's totally normal. After your house gets warm and the burner shut off, you'll notice the fan keeps going for another minute or two. This is actually a really smart feature. It's designed to push every last bit of that leftover heat out of the furnace and into your home so it doesn't go to waste. As that last bit of heat runs out, the air will naturally feel cooler right before it shuts off. Perfectly normal.
Now, if you have a heat pump, this one's for you. When it gets really cold outside, that big unit in your yard can actually freeze over with ice. To fix this, the system will briefly reverse itself, kind of like running the AC for a few minutes, just to melt that ice off. When it does that, you might feel some cool air inside for a bit. It might seem weird, but it's a totally necessary and normal defrost cycle.
Okay, so what if what you're feeling doesn't sound like any of those normal things? Well, before you pick up the phone to call for help, there are a couple of really simple things you should check yourself. All right, so when your furnace starts acting strange, what's the very first place you should always look? What is the one simple thing that causes more headaches than anything else? Yep, it's your air filter. More often than not, a clogged, dirty air filter is the #1 reason your furnace is misbehaving and blowing cold air when it shouldn't be. See, a dirty filter basically suffocates your furnace. It can't breathe. Without enough air flowing through, that really hot part inside, the heat exchanger, can overheat, so a safety switch kicks in and shuts off the burners to prevent damage. But the fan keeps running to cool things down, which means it's now just pushing unheated air into your house. The key symptom here, you get cycles of warm air, then cold air, then warm again. If that's happening, a clogged filter is almost always the culprit. All right, we've covered the normal stuff and the easy fixes. Now, let's talk about the more serious issues. The signs that mean it's probably time to call on a professional. Here's the most important rule of thumb. If your thermostat is asking for heat and you can hear the system kick on like it's trying to heat, but all you get is cold air, that's a clear signal something's wrong. The furnace wants to work, but some part of it is failing. So what could be broken? Well, this failure can happen at a few key spots. Maybe the igniter that lights the gas is just worn out. Or the gas valve itself is stuck closed and isn't delivering any fuel. It could even be a faulty flame sensor that doesn't see the flame and shuts the gas off for safety. In any of those cases, the blower will run. But with no fire, there's obviously no heat.
Okay, this is really important. We gotta know the difference between something to keep an eye on and a real, genuine safety hazard. On the left, you've got things to investigate, like those warm and cold cycles we talked about. But the items on the right, these are call for help now situations. If you smell gas, if you hear the furnace clicking over and over but it never lights, or if your carbon monoxide detector goes off, turn the system off immediately and call a professional. No exception.
Phew, we've covered a lot. Normal operation, simple fixes, and some pretty serious problems. So let's put it all together into a clear, simple action plan.
It really all boils down to this one question, right? Is your furnace just doing its job like it's supposed to, or is it trying to signal a problem that needs your attention? Let's quickly recap the differences one last time.
Let's just break this down into 2 simple camps. On the left, you have the expected behaviors. The fan setting, that delay when it shuts off, the heat pump defrosting, that's all part of the system's design. It's normal. On the right, you have the problems that require action. A clogged filter, which you can fix, or a failed part or a safety lockout, which means you need to call a pro. You know, at the end of the day, understanding the difference between what's normal and what's a real problem is just empowering. It can save you from spending money on a service call when all you needed to do was flip a switch on your thermostat. And way more importantly, it helps you recognize the signs of a serious issue so you can act fast to keep your home warm and, most of all, safe. So the next time you feel that unexpected chill, you'll know exactly what to ask yourself. Is my furnace just doing its job, or is it trying to tell me something?